3, 2, 1. I'm going to talk about hairdressers today because I just recently got my hair cut and I wanted to try a different hairdresser. I usually have a go-to place, but I wanted to switch it up. So I wanted to do a number of things to see what salon or what barber I would end up going to. And I'm looking at this from a marketing standpoint, and being a hairdresser is not the easiest thing. 1, you need to know what you're doing. 2, you need to have a location. And 3, you need to be competing with many other people in terms of marketing space. You see, there could be a number of hairdressers on a given street. And I know in my neighborhood, and this is just a quiet neighborhood, it's not too busy, there are quite a few hairdressers. There's at least half a dozen within the span of 5-minute drive. It's really quite easy to find a hairdresser. So what you need to do if you're a hairdresser and to stand out is, like for me, I found a place based on Google reviews. You need to have, as a given, fantastic Google reviews, because that alone could make or break your business. There's a ton of traffic, foot traffic, that you're missing if your Google reviews are below a 4.5 out of 5. That's how serious it is. That's how competitive it is. Because there are a number of hairdressers out there that are 4.8s, 4.9s. So you need to ask your family, your friends, your customers to leave a review, because it's going to make a huge difference. Ask them to leave a 5-star review. You need to get that review up there. It's going to be critical for your business. The other aspect of the marketing, though, is if you already have a following, if you somehow have a list of family and friends that are willing to get their hair cut from you, you've already got a good solid base from which to work from. Now the secret is to just expand that network and to get them to refer their families and their friends, and that's how you're going to expand your network. If you're just starting out and you don't have any following, Google reviews is going to be critical. It's what people will see. It's how they'll judge you. And then once you get them in the door, you need to provide an outstanding haircut. I'm so particular with my haircuts that I'm specific in terms of what I want, but I still find that people don't quite get it. They don't quite understand. And it's nice to find a stylist who can actually just go in and just do the job, and you're not paying $50 plus for a haircut. A haircut for me, like my haircut is so simple that it should be less than $30. There's a lot of salons out there that charge a significant amount for a haircut, and it just doesn't make sense. Unfortunately, you're competing with a low price because there's a lot of people out there who are quite skilled and they're charging like $12. Of course, they're not outstanding haircuts. I feel like you need to be at around the $20 mark and somebody with good reviews. Although I've seen a $30 haircut go wrong, I've seen a $40 haircut go wrong. It really depends on the business and depends on what their intention is. If their intention is to just get people through the door, it might not be a very good cut. If they're a new type of business, they have something to prove, and they likely have to be good at what they're doing. I don't think online ads will be helpful for hairdressers because the first thing that people look at is the Google reviews. That's going to be the most important thing. You want to make sure that that is perfectly fine-tuned. Maybe you want to have examples of your best haircuts on the photo area. Maybe you want to have your specific hours of operation. There's even a way now on Google where you can actually directly message the hairdresser. So I feel like hairdressers need to have that. And these are all really critical online components that cost nothing. Cost nothing to have a Google review page and all that. It's like a no-brainer. So that's what you need to do. In addition to fine-tuning your craft. See, I find it interesting because hair is very much an artistic endeavor. That the person cutting the hair has to have some innate creative ability in order to cut someone's hair. And there's certainly art involved here. So that's the interesting piece, is what are hairdressers doing to stand out? I mean, branding is obviously important, but if you've got a high-end place, you need to be charging more, but then you also need to be providing the service to suggest that this is worth it. What things are you offering to stand out? Is it, hot towel treatment? There's like massages now. There's like a number of different things you can do, which makes it really interesting. Maybe you just want to be the straight, I go in, I cut hair, and that's it. Nothing wrong with that. You can be very good at a very production-based system, but don't get too fancy otherwise. That depends on what you want to go for. There's a market for everything, right? There's a market for the high-end crowd. There's a market for low-end. There's a market for the middle. You could go for absolute luxury, and then all you would need to do is get a couple clients in. You're good to go. Maybe charge for like a $100 haircut. Become the absolute best at that $100 haircut. Because you know what? It's easier to get somebody in the door and have a solid, high-paying client rather than trying to get a number of low-paying, price-conscious clients. Although I see price-conscious as a big thing. That's why there's a lot of hairdressers competing based on their low price. And I find that's always a challenge in business. It's like, how do you survive? If you're only making $10, you're making $20 from me, then a good portion of that has to go to your building, your storefront that you have. Then you have maybe other staff. You have to pay them. You've got overhead, you've got expenses for that building, Then if you're going to invest any kind of money in marketing, then it's going to be a problem, right? You're going to run into that issue as well. So that's what you really got to look at, is how you're going to stand out in the crowd of hairdressers on the single street. What makes you different? What makes you better? What makes you the one to go for? Well, your reviews are going to be really important. Your reviews are going to be absolutely critical. I say that the reviews are now the storefront. Before somebody even walks into your building, they're looking at your reviews. So your reviews need to be spot on. And this goes for a number of different fields, but hairdressers especially. Somebody's looking to start getting their haircuts. Maybe they move to a new place, move to a new city, and they need to know a good hairdresser. Well, one, there's word of mouth, but then there's two, Google reviews. Google reviews is the big word of mouth right here. Because it's being calculated based on a number of customers leaving reviews. And there's nothing stronger than that. So that's what you have to look at as a hairdresser. As much as maybe you just want to cut hair, there's so much more to it. It's just like the same with an artist. An artist can't just paint. They have to be able to share this artwork that they have with the world. They have to be able to tell a story. That's what you need to do. Anyway, it's interesting. Your story, even if you're a hairdresser, is what can pull people in. It's what makes people interested in you. Maybe you're the hometown hairdresser. Maybe you're the low price hairdresser. Maybe you're the luxury hairdresser. I don't know. You have to figure that one out. But that's so important to figure that out. And that's what's going to help drive business to your storefront, is knowing where you stand. So that's something to think about. Take a step back and look at your strategic approach, because that could be quite helpful. Anyway, lots to think about there. But that's all I've got for today. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.